Let's set a foundation. First of all, I don't think 99% of our listening audience today has actually written down their personal values. They may have think something up at a cocktail party that sounds great, freedom, liberty, independence, privacy. But first of all, you need to write down your personal values and then live your life in accordance with them. Second, I think 100% of your listening audience hasn't written down their professional values. And by the way, when you write these down, you should not care what anyone thinks about them. Do not write them down because they'll sound great at a retreat. Write down your personal professional values. They are separate. My number one professional value, maximize my income. I don't work because I'm bored. I work because I have three boys who want to go to college and apparently they may need to go to the hospital occasionally. I work for money, period. Not only, but primarily. My second professional value is to work with a brand that I trust and that I'm proud of. Could have made a lot more money working for companies I wasn't proud of, but it wasn't my only value. And so once you have your personal and professional values codified, then you can determine when they are in conflict because they will be. It may be your number one personal value is family, but your number one professional value is maximize your income and you're in sales, but you want to be near your aging grandparents and your territory is 4 states away. You probably can't maximize your sales if you aren't in your territory. It's okay. But you can't know when they are in alignment and when they are in conflict until you write them down. Now, your question was when they are in conflict with your companies and your employers. How would you know unless you've written down your professional values?
Right.
If your number one professional value is in maximize your income and you're working for a nonprofit, you're probably not going to be fulfilled. If your number one professional value is equity or stock options or international travel, and you're working for the Montana Cancer Society, you're probably not going to be fulfilled. And so that's the fundamental answer to your question is first you have to do the work of contemplating and cogitating and writing down, codifying, sorry for the C's, all of your professional values to decide are they in alignment with your employer? And what sacrifices are you willing to make? Is there a role or a phase, a season of your life where you're okay if they're out of balance? Maybe that phase or season is a year or two or three because there's a lot of great skills to learn in this company. Even though the values aren't aligned, you want to learn this skill, take it to the next company where your values are aligned. I don't think it's a black or a white or a yes or a no. It's a where does this fit in my value system for what I am trying to accomplish? What's going to move me forward in life? You can't know if your values are in alignment until you've done them. There may be some cases where your values aren't in alignment. Then you got some decisions to make, right? I wasn't right for the Walt Disney Company. They weren't right for me. I didn't have my values written down. I was 23 years old. I didn't know what they even meant. So you may require you to make some hard decisions. Be careful what you wish for because when you write your values down, you may become very clear quickly. I'm in the wrong organization. That's okay. The economy is robust. Everybody is always hiring competent, trustworthy people focused on results all the time. Competent, trustworthy people focused on results.
I think what you shared about other people deciding your career for you, where the rubber meets the road is if you've done all these things that you just mentioned and defining your personal and professional values, you can then decide what job you should pursue, accept, should you change jobs, should you go to
Yeah.
another company. I think that's really the foundation for it, like you said, is because a lot of times if you're just looking for a paycheck, any road will get you there. But then you get there.
And that might be the right decision in some circumstance, right? Listen, before my kids can't eat dinner, I'm going to go stock shelves at Costco at night. I'm going to do it because I have a responsibility. One of my roles in life is as provider for my family. I've made a commitment to my spouse to provide for my family. I'm going to do my best to get that done. There may be seasons in your life where that's the right thing to do. Don't let that be the one season that governs your entire life.
Right. And the other interesting thing that you pointed out earlier is I think when this conflict exists, when your values don't align with your company's values, that's when I really see fireworks on sites like Glassdoor.
Mm.
And there's all kinds of craziness that ensues, it's really just a miscommunication about people prioritizing different things, and sometimes in a very spectacular, emotional way.
I also think there's a level of self-awareness because you may not like the organization's values or align with them or naturally fit within them. It doesn't mean you should demonize them. It doesn't mean that it means they have values and they've expressed them and they expect you to be accountable to them. And so I generally find people need to move outside their comfort zone, become more self aware, and recognize, was this the right place for me? Did I honor their values? Do we value the same thing? And then ask yourself, should you adjust? Because I would argue that increasingly employers' values are becoming more similar than dissimilar. I think companies' values look more like this year than they did last year to their top competitive competition. So I'll tell you this because in my career, I've had the privilege of interviewing thousands of people and hiring hundreds and terminating 18. And every single termination, Eric, was because someone lacked the self awareness to understand what it was like to work with them. It was never, they never lacked the technical competency to do the job. It was always, they were completely self aware of how mean, how arrogant, how independent, how non collaborative, how finger pointing, how victim they were. We all have this in us. We just need to become more self aware. It's a little bit of an off topic insight, but it's super valuable. I write about it in the book, right? Around your brand as well. But typically company values are going to trump. And so go into it eyes wide open. Have you asked them? Are you clear about them? Do you know what that looks like in terms of behavior and results? And is that a place you can find your voice in? If not, look elsewhere.